You know what's great about this period of lame duck for President Joe Biden? It's given the Democrats time to get their groove back and to start figuring out how to position themselves tactically, strategically, to take on MAGA Republicans and grind them to a halt and grind them down to size in terms of future policies of Donald Trump. And we just saw another example of it as the Senate Democrats take on Donald Trump's federal judge positions and end up beating Donald Trump at his own game, beating by one at least, 235 to 234, the number of federal judges' lifetime appointments that Joe Biden has appointed during his just 4 years. That's the headline. We're watching, and I'm watching. I'm Michael Popok, by the way. I almost forgot who I was. Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Hit that blue subscribe button. We're watching two split screens that are fascinating. And we're watching, it's almost like the Democrats it's like artificial intelligence, like machine learning. It's like Terminator 2. They're becoming more aware, more strategic, more thoughtful as they regain their footing against Donald Trump and the incoming administration and incoming 119th Congress. And they're using this time wisely. It's like a dress rehearsal. It's practice. They're on the practice field, right? Then the game starts Jan 3 with the swearing in of the 119th and Jan 20 with the swearing in of Trump. But there's work to be done now, and they're learning, how to galvanize their support and stay together. Hakeem Jeffries keeping the Democrats together in the House. Vote together, stay together, party discipline. Learned it at the knee of Nancy Pelosi. Chuck Schumer and Dick Durbin. Discipline, keeping the senators together in the Senate, and they're working together to grind Mike Johnson down. And I don't know how tall Mike Johnson was, but Mike Johnson appears to be about 4'2" at this point, and the Democrats are doing good in practice. Let's return to judges. Really important. One thing we did learn from the enemy, the MAGA Republicans, is that the federal judiciary is important. For too long, the Democrats ignored the value in our constitutional republic of having the right judges to fill those vacancies. Sort of ignored it. We let the Republicans, led by the Federalist Society and Leonard Leo, who Donald Trump had outsourced federal judge selection to, take control. Leonard Leo figured out, as the Federalist Society leader, that there was a couple of areas being ignored. There were a number of areas being ignored by the Democrats where the Republicans could regain power, even though they're not really a national party. They're a narrow party. How could they do it? State houses. Try to get, it's easier a state by state level, especially in these red states, to take control of the governorship and the two chambers of their state legislature. And that's why we have only 17 totally blue states in America, 23 where there's a split, and the rest, 27, are red. Leonard Leo, take over the states, take over boards of education, take over local school races, take over local voting and local municipality elections, and then focus on the federal courts. Democrats for too long took those things for granted. But we learned when we saw Donald Trump put up 234 points, 234 federal judge appointments during his 4 years, including actually more appellate court positions than even Joe Biden was able to do. He beat him on that one and beat him on the all-important Supreme Court number, which is 3-1, 3 of Donald Trump's, Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett against Ketanji Brown Jackson. But your raw numbers don't tell the whole story. 235, yes, for Joe Biden, but look at the not the quantity, the quality of the 235, the demographics of the 235. Let me put this bluntly. Donald Trump's 234 federal judges were primarily white guys. It's white males, very little women, almost no black, very little Hispanic or Asian. It's white guys. There's no other way to put it. Joe Biden, the exact opposite. The majority of his picks, women, 66% women. Donald Trump was less than a quarter, 24%, less than a quarter, 24% were women judges for Donald Trump, 66% for Joe Biden. That's not all. Two thirds, same 66, 67%, black Asian, Hispanic, black, Asian, Hispanic. That's not what Donald Trump did. Let's just use black judges as an example. Joe Biden has appointed, and it now has been confirmed, that there are 63 black American judges. 63 black American judges. 63 judges go home to their family, change their families' lives and the life of our American history, and say that they are a federal judge. Donald Trump, 12. No, don't turn up the dial. I said 12. 12, so 20% of what Joe Biden did. That's what Donald Trump did. How people voted during the last election, not knowing these numbers or not understanding these numbers, is beyond me. Of the 63 black judges, 40 of them were women. So 40 black women are now federal judges because of Joe Biden. And then I like where they came from, their walks of life. As I said earlier, Donald Trump appointed white guys in their 50s, 40s, and 50s, old white guy, middle-aged white guys. That's not what, and they all came from like either corporate America, big American Lawyer 100 law firms. That's a ranking system. All did business law effectively. Very few did criminal law. All represented businesses, even though the bulk of the federal docket is criminal. Almost none of them civil rights or constitutional scholars. Almost none of them for Donald Trump. And some came from corporate America, in-house counsel. Some were the general counsel or in the counsel's office for right-wing, alt-right-wing Christian organizations against the right of a woman to choose. That's where Kazmarek came from in Texas and the like. But that's not the makeup of Joe Biden's group. Joe Biden's group, 45 of them, of their total of 235, came from the public defender's office, state or federal. Those are the people doing God's work, right? With hundreds and thousands of files, outmatched by prosecutors, doing work for people who are indigent, can't afford their own private counsel in the criminal justice system. It's important that judges come from that perspective as well. Not because they're going to be pro-criminal. I know that's the normal retort, because that they fully understand our justice system and its inequities and things that have to be balanced, They're not going to automatically be pro-defense and anti-prosecution, but it's good to have enough former defenders to balance off all the former prosecutors and White House counsel that are made judges. So 45 public defenders, 26, also a fair number, a little bit more than 10%, have a civil rights litigation background. And that's what really changes our lives and moves the needle, the civil rights area. So that is in stark contrast to Donald Trump. Now, that's the first set of numbers, 235, 234. Again, to be fair, Donald Trump got slightly more of appellate judges. His appellate count was higher. I think he got 54 appellate judges to Biden's 45 appellate judges. But some of those appellate judges for Biden, where we thought they were trapped and locked by Republicans blocking Donald Trump, because this is a rebuke to Donald Trump. Donald Trump didn't want any more. He said a month ago, no more Biden confirmations of federal judges. But Chuck Schumer and Dick Durbin were able to get this last gasp of 30 or 40 through. They did a little horse trading. Part of it was to give up on some appellate court positions because there was some controversy over them. And frankly, the Republicans wanted to give those over to Donald Trump and have them be vacancies. But as I did on prior reporting, some judges who were 70, who said they were going to retire because they thought Joe Biden would be able to get their replacements confirmed because they were democratically appointed themselves, have unretired. There's at least 3 judges, including one appellate judge, who says, I'm not going anywhere. No, I'm going to wait. I'll wait. I'm not giving this to Donald Trump. There's already going to be a fight now. This sets us up for the next term. Let me just give you that at the end of this hot take. The fight that's going to happen over the 4 years is MAGA have enough discipline in the House and in the Senate, which they control for at least the first 2 years? Are they going to have enough political capital and will and discipline? And what are the Democrats going to do to oppose it, to push more, to create more federal vacancies, create them? In the Reagan Revolution, no other word for it, the 8 years that he was in, they gave him an additional 400 or 500 federal judge positions. Now, we are short a few federal judges. I'm not going to I'm not going to take an opposite position. We could probably use 50 or 60 more federal judges around the country to take on dockets that are backlogged. Civil cases especially get crushed. They almost can never get their time in court. I have a number of civil cases right now in federal courts around the country, and I filed a case in 2021. I don't think I'm going to get on the trial docket in 2025, maybe 2026, as all the drug cases and criminal cases go ahead of me. So we need more judges. But the Democrats don't want to give a gift over to Donald Trump, because we know how he will abuse it. And so we're going to have to fight and cut him off at the pass to not give Donald Trump another 200 plus. There's going to be vacancies. You can see the average here. Every 4 years, a president gets a couple of hundred vacancies just through attrition, retirement, and death. It just happens. Question is, are we going to give Donald Trump another 300 or 400 over that? The answer to that should be no. Or try to reshape the Supreme Court and add a few more there. The answer to that should be no. How do we fight that? Right here. You'll learn about it here on Legal AF, the YouTube channel, and on a work that we do along with our collaborators like Court Accountability Action. So until my next hot take, not to leave you on a cliffhanger, until my next reporting on Legal AF, Midas Touch Network, and here on this YouTube channel, I'm Michael Popok reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.